Imagine a world where the chaotic clamor of the trading floor is replaced by the silent hum of a global supercomputer. It is the year 2026, and the financial landscape has fundamentally shifted. Before you stands a hyper-realistic 3D holographic grid where the pillars of industry, Apple, Microsoft, and Exxon, no longer exist as entries in a centralized database. Instead, they are living, breathing assets secured by a singular blockchain standard. The air is thick with the glow of real-time data streams, and the tension is palpable as the world watches the final transition. We are witnessing the standardization of the S&P 500, a movement that will redefine ownership and liquidity forever. For decades, the global financial system has operated on archaic foundations, relying on T+2 settlement cycles and fragmented clearinghouses. This structural friction creates billions of dollars in inefficiency and hidden risks that the average investor never sees. But the breaking point has arrived. As traditional stock exchanges struggle to keep pace with the instantaneous nature of modern digital information, a desperate search for a universal truth has begun. The latency crisis is no longer just a technical hurdle, it is a systemic threat to the stability of global wealth. Behind the scenes, the brightest minds in cryptography are racing to build a bridge that can carry the weight of the entire world economy. The competition is fierce. Major protocols like Ethereum, Solana, and private enterprise ledgers are locked in a silent war for dominance. Each claims to offer the security, scalability, and decentralization necessary to host the world's most valuable index. It is a digital arms race where the prize is nothing less than the global financial backbone. Investors are currently split, debating whether a public, transparent ledger or a permissioned institutional layer will win the crown. The stakes have never been higher, and the outcome will determine who controls the flow of capital for the next century. This isn't just a technological upgrade. It is a battle for the very soul of the modern capitalistic machine.
Suddenly, a breakthrough occurs. A unified interoperability layer emerges, capable of syncing disparate economic sectors into a single, cohesive digital environment. We enter the 2026 futuristic exchange floor. The camera pans rapidly across a vast, dark chamber where 3D holographic pillars rise from a glowing blockchain grid. Each pillar pulses with a unique signature, representing the real-time health and valuation of a specific S&P 500 company. The cinematic color grading highlights the contrast between the cold, dark room and the vibrant neon data streams connecting the pillars. This is the moment where speculative theory meets hard reality, and the first major sector prepares to lock its data into the immutable ledger for eternity. The energy sector is the first to synchronize. Massive pillars representing Chevron and NextEra Energy suddenly shift from a flickering amber to a steady, radiant gold. Real-time production data, carbon credits, and global supply chain metrics are now being fed directly into the blockchain, allowing for instantaneous valuation adjustments. There is no more waiting for quarterly reports or manual audits. The transparency is absolute, and the market responds with a surge of volatility that quickly settles into a newfound precision. This synchronization marks the end of information asymmetry in the power sector, as every joule of energy produced is tracked and traded with surgical accuracy on the global digital standard. The grid is becoming alive with real-world.
Next, the healthcare and biotech sectors begin their transformation. The holographic pillars for companies like Johnson & Johnson and United Health glow with a clinical blue light as they sync to the grid. This isn't just about stock prices, it is about the integration of clinical trial data, patent lifetimes, and insurance premiums into a single liquid pool. Investors can now fractionalize their exposure to specific drug pipelines or regional health outcomes with a single click. The liquidity bloom is breathtaking as billions of dollars in previously locked assets become tradable in a 24/7 market. The complexity of the medical-industrial complex is finally distilled into a transparent, programmable, and highly efficient digital ecosystem. This is the democratization of high-stakes medicine.
But how do we trust the data? This is where the oracle problem is solved. In this futuristic exchange, decentralized sensor networks and AI-driven validators act as the eyes and ears of the blockchain. They verify physical world events, from the shipment of goods to the weather affecting crop yields, and feed that information into the smart contracts governing the S&P 500 pillars. Any discrepancy is immediately slashed, ensuring that the digital representation is a perfect mirror of physical reality. This layer of trust is the invisible glue holding the entire system together. Without it, the grid would be a house of cards. With it, it becomes the most reliable ledger in human history.
The atmosphere in the exchange reaches a fever pitch as the great synchronization begins. One by one, the tech, financial, and industrial pillars ignite, turning the entire room into a blinding landscape of interconnected light. The S&P 500 has effectively become a single, massive smart contract. The traditional concept of a stock has been replaced by a programmable token that carries voting rights, dividends, and real-time governance powers. The speed of the camera pans increases, capturing the frantic yet orderly flow of trillions of dollars moving through the grid. This is the ultimate realization of decentralized finance at a sovereign scale, where the world's most powerful companies are finally operating on a level playing field.
The institutional domino effect is now unstoppable. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, the titans of asset management, have no choice but to migrate their entire portfolios to the new standard. The efficiency gains are too large to ignore, and the risk of being left behind is too great. We see the digital pillars representing these giants merging with the grid, providing the deep liquidity necessary to stabilize the new system. The old world of fragmented banking and closed-door deals is collapsing in real time, replaced by a meritocratic system where capital flows to the most efficient and transparent actors. The global economy is no longer a collection of silos. It is a single, unified machine. The giant
Regulatory convergence follows the capital. Governments and central banks, initially skeptical, are forced to adopt the blockchain standard to maintain oversight and tax compliance. In this new era, the SEC doesn't just review filings, they run nodes on the network, monitoring every transaction in real time to prevent fraud and manipulation. The cinematic camera captures a global map glowing with the same digital standard, showing how national borders are becoming irrelevant to the flow of institutional wealth. Policy is now written in code, and enforcement is automated. This transition marks the end of the Wild West era of crypto and the beginning of a highly regulated yet incredibly efficient global digital financial order. The rules are... For the average investor, the ripple effects are profound. You no longer need a brokerage account or a minimum balance to own a piece of the world's greatest companies. Through fractionalization and direct peer-to-peer access, a student in Nairobi has the same investment opportunities as a hedge fund manager in Manhattan. The barrier to entry has evaporated. We see a montage of diverse individuals interacting with sleek, holographic interfaces, managing their wealth with unprecedented ease and security. The standardization of the S&P 500 has democratized finance in a way that was previously unimaginable, turning the global economy into a truly inclusive engine for prosperity. The future of wealth is finally here. As the camera pulls back from the exchange floor, we see the entire planet enveloped in a web of glowing digital threads. The S&P 500 was just the beginning. The standardization has laid the groundwork for a future where every asset, from real estate to intellectual property, is part of this global blockchain grid. We are entering a new financial epoch, characterized by transparency, speed, and universal access. The debate over which blockchain will win is over. The technology has become the air we breathe. As we fade to block, a single glowing pillar remains, a testament to the day the world decided to sync its destiny to a single digital standard. The future is now, and it is decentralized.